what I'm going to give you all will give you some information about the chemicals released in Ohio, as well as things you can do about it to protect yourself. So I wanted to get these out too because the toxins are going to go out farther than just the immediate area in Ohio. So these things can also help people that these chemicals are going to reach or could possibly reach, not just within the body, but within their soil and the water. Because as we know, it leaked into the Ohio River and went into a big old plume. So it's going to be widespread. And unfortunately, the chemicals released are not things that dissipate quickly. I am going to talk about the chemicals that were released from the Ohio derailment, which is not just the final chloride. It's also some other ones that I'm probably going to butcher saying, but I'm going to do my best. So, according to what the EPA is saying, it was the vinyl chloride, the butyl xylate, uh, ethyl xylate, ethylene glycol monobutyl, and something that they are not discussing, which I actually have a suspicion as to why, is when they lit those chemicals on fire, it released a massive amount of dioxins in the air, which a lot of people are not talking about. And that is actually the dioxins and the vinyl chloride are actually the two chemicals that I'm primarily worried about for exposure wise and affecting people's health. Dioxins are already in minute doses in everything that we eat and drink already. Or if you burn your trash, you are exposed to dioxins. But the amount of dioxins that were released into the air when they caught these trains on fire and the chemicals on fire was massive. And that is probably what a lot of the people are getting their effects from, is breathing in these dioxins that are have been thrown up into the air and widespread. So we'll go over some of these chemicals, and like I said, I'm going to butcher them. I'll tell you what the short-term exposure is, the long-term exposure, and kind of just some brief little bits on those chemicals. And then we'll go into things you can do to help your body fight these chemicals and get them out of your body, out of your soil, out of your water, and hopefully protect you from some health problems that are probably going to come, since Ohio told everyone that everything was fine and that they could go back, which I hope that people did not go back. For the most part, I hope that they really used critical thinking and realized that this was a very serious event, that they were being lied to, because the chemicals released are very, very toxic, especially in the doses that were put into the atmosphere. Uh, it's going to be really bad. Maybe not short term effects right away, but the long term, a lot of those people are going to get serious, serious health conditions from these chemicals if they don't take some sort of precautions from them. All right, so the first one, which is the butyl acrylate, the exposure symptoms are, it's a commonly found in the production of coatings, adhesives, polymers, can cause a range of symptoms. The symptoms may vary depending on the level of duration of exposure. All of these are also going to depend on how healthy the individual is and how sensitive they are. If they're already going to have like a allergic reaction, if they're already sensitive to the chemicals before they even either inhale them, ingest them, whatever. So short-term exposure to butyl xylate can cause irritation of the eyes, skin, respiratory symptoms. Symptoms of eye irritations can include the redness, the itching, and the tearing. Skin irritations may manifest as a rash or redness, and respiratory symptoms may include coughing, wheezing, and shortness of breath. We're already kind of hearing some of those symptoms of the people that went back to their homes when they were told it was safe, even though it wasn't. So I think that they're starting to get the short-term effects, the immediate effects from being exposed to these chemicals. However, if they stay in their homes and around these chemicals, the long-term effects, exposure effects are it can cause damage to the lungs, the liver, and the kidneys. Can also develop allergic reactions to the chemical, which can cause symptoms such as skin rash, hives, and swelling. So the next chemical they said that they had released was ethyl hexyl acrylate, commonly used in the production of coatings, adhesives, and plastics, can cause a range of symptoms, which of course depends on the severity and the how long you're exposed to it. And the short-term exposures to ethyl hexyl acrylate, same thing: eye irritation, skin irritation, respiratory symptoms, redness, itching, tearing of the eyes, skin irritations. Also is rash or redness, coughing, wheezing, shortness of breath. So both of them are very similar in symptoms. Long-term exposure to ethyl hexyl acrylate can cause more serious health effects. Prolonged exposure to high levels can cause damage to the liver, kidneys, and the nervous system. And then, of course, the normal, you could have a normal reaction, allergic reaction to the chemicals, just as you would from peanuts or a beehive or beehive, bee stings, so forth. Ethylene glycol monobutyl. This is a chemical that is commonly used in the production of coatings, cleanings, and solvents. Symptoms, of course, again, depends on how long you're in them and how concentrated the chemical is that you're exposed to. Short-term exposure is irritation of the eyes, skin, respiratory symptoms, redness, itching, tearing, skin irritations, rash, redness, coughing, wheezing, shortness of breath, so forth. Same thing. Long exposure is liver damage, kidney damage, and can damage your blood cells. Repeat exposure can cause anemia, which is the decreased number of red blood cells and can lead to fatigue, weakness, and shortness of breath. Vinyl chloride, which is the chemical that the news is talking about the most, it seems. Vinyl chloride is a colorless gas that's used primarily in the production of PVC plastics. Exposure to vinyl chloride can cause a range of acute and chronic health effects, including irritation of the eyes, skin, and respiratory system, dizziness, headaches, nausea, loss of consciousness at high concentrations. And this is what I worry about for the people that went back right away. Respiratory depression and death is at extremely high concentrations. Chronic effects are liver damage, including liver cancer, nerve damage, including peripheral neuropathy and Raynaud's syndrome, increased risk of lung cancer, immune system damage, and increased susceptibility to infections, reproduction system damage, and infertility. Dioxide exposure, and this is what the news is not talking about, is the mass amounts of dioxide that was released into the air. The reason why I think that they are not testing for dioxide, or unless they've recently started, but they weren't testing for dioxide, is because dioxide is already out there in our elements, in trace amounts. It's in our soil, it's in our water, it's in our air, it's in our food. And the problem is, if they go and test for dioxins, they can't 100% say, even though we know that it's from this derailment. So they can say, yes, it's at a higher level, but they can't prove that it came from the chemicals being burned off in a controlled burn. So I really think that that's why they're not testing for the dioxins. But dioxins, they really, really should, because dioxins, in my opinion, is the next most dangerous thing to the vinyl chloride that they are talking about. So the acute effects for the exposure to the dioxins are skin rashes and acne-like lesions, skin discoloration, nausea and vomiting, abdominal pain and diarrhea, muscle and joint pain, headaches and dizziness. The chronic effects are increased risk of cancer, including non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and soft tissue sarcomas, reproductive and developmental problems, immune system damage, endocrine disruption, including thyroid dysfunction, neurological damage, including development delays in children, and cognitive impairment in adults. So, if you were there and you were pregnant, chances are high if you're staying there that your child is going to be born with problems, whether it be physical problems or cognitive problems. Chances are very high with the amount of dioxins that were released into the air that you're going to have problems. I would not stick around in that area until um, you know that most of those chemicals are out of the air, if you can at all help it. Um, Dioxins are persistent environmental pollutants, meaning that they can remain in the environment and in the human body for years after exposure. I'm going to tell you some herbs that can help you detox these chemicals, help your body detox. The chemicals are not water soluble. They are they'll go into your fat in your system and they'll stay there for decades until they cause problems and they'll start attacking everything else. So your body has a natural detox. It will constantly always try to detox any toxins, any heavy metals, even like food poisoning, bacteria, so forth. Your body's always detoxing things. That's why you get fevers. That's why you throw up. That's why you get diarrhea. It's your body's way of trying to get rid of something in your body that is not supposed to be there. Yes, pretty much forever chemicals, Pilgrim. The herbs that I'm going to tell you about are not going to be what actually detoxes them. They're going to help your body naturally detox them. And I am hoping that if you can get a hold of these herbs now, if you're there, or if you're in the area where these herbs or where these chemicals are going to migrate to, that you can start taking some of these herbs and start eating some of these foods and take some of these minerals that I'm going to tell you about to help your body detox these chemicals, boost your immune system, and fight back against any long term or short term effects. We're going to mainly talk about the dioxins. Okay, so from what I'm finding, in order to remove these chemicals from water, there's several methods that can be used. These include filtration, absorption, and chemical treatment. Now, some of these aren't things that we can just do with what we have at home. It's something that has to be done at an industrial level, but there are some things that you can do to try to cut down on, like the dioxins within your home, to get them out of the water, to make it safer or safe to consume, cook with, clean with, bathe with, whatever. Filtration methods such as activated charcoal or reverse osmosis can be effective to removing organic compounds like vinyl chloride and butyl acrylate from water. Absorption techniques using materials like activated carbon, zeolites, or clay can also be effective for removing these chemicals from water. Chemical treatments such as ozonation, probably said that wrong, or chlorination can also be effective for breaking down or removing these chemicals from water. These methods, however, may produce byproducts that can be harmful to the environment, so you need to be aware of that. Now, specific treatment methods depend on the level and type of contamination, which, as we know, there's a whole bunch out there in the water. So I wouldn't suggest going down to the Ohio River and pulling out some water from there. But there's a good chance that there's probably just a small amount in the city water right now because it hasn't gotten into that system yet, or hasn't gotten into the well system yet to a high contamination level. So I would start using these processes now, while you can, to at least try to store up some water. And then, of course, I would always suggest to get your water tested as you go along to make sure that it's not highly contaminated now or further on down the line. And I'm also going to guess that some of these companies there are going to do the right thing and test your water for free. But I can't promise that. I'm just hoping there's good people out there that would do that to help people out. All right, zeolites. Now, if you guys watched my last detox video, I actually take zeolites myself, and it is a mineral that is it's magnetic, really. So if you take zeolite, it actually draws and binds the heavy metals in your body and helps you flush them out. It's got a unique crystalline structure that allows them to trap and remove certain pollutants and toxins from water and the environment. It can remove VOCs, which is volatile organic compounds like vinyl chloride, butyl acrylate. A study published in the journal Water Research found that a type of zeolite called clinoptilolite, CLINOPTILOLITE, was able to remove up to 99% of vinyl chloride from contaminated groundwater. Okay. Zeolite is very cheap too. So if you can get your hands on this type of zeolite, I would get it because they've already done studies and it has removed 99% of the vinyl chloride from contaminated groundwater. So this, in my opinion, is a go-to, plus your your active charcoal filter. They haven't done any studies on it detoxifying the ethylhexyl acrylate or the ethylene glycol monobutyl. But as far as the vinyl chloride, it works very well. Can be effective in removing other pollutants from the water. So basically anything that they're not telling us about. Okay, so activated carbon filtration. Activated carbon can be used to remove dioxins from water. The activated carbon works by absorbing the dioxins onto its surface, removing them from the water. And then also this is what was taking out the vinyl chloride. And I would suggest running it through that filter quite a few times. Don't just run it once and think that your water is completely pure to drink. I would definitely run it through a couple times if you can, at least. Reverse osmosis, water treatment process that removes contaminant from water by forcing it through a semi-permeable membrane. The process can be effective in removing dioxins. However, it's a little bit more expensive to do that, and it's not practical, obviously, on a large scale. Chemical treatment can be used to remove dioxins from water. One example is using sodium hydroxide or lime to adjust the pH of the water, which can cause the dioxins to become insoluble and settle out of the water. Biological treatment uses bacteria to break down dioxins in the water. Right, so long-term exposure to the dioxins are cancer. Long-term exposure to dioxins have been linked to the increased risks of several types of cancer, including soft tissue sarcomas and lymphomas, reproductive and developmental problems. Dioxin exposure can interfere with hormone production and disrupt the reproductive system, leading to infertility, menstrual irregularities, decreased sperm quality. Dioxin exposure during pregnancy can also affect fetal development, leading to birth defects and developmental delays. Dioxin exposure can suppress the immune system, making individuals more susceptible to infections and diseases. Endocrine disruptions, which controls the hormone productions and regulation, can lead to a range of health problems, including diabetes, thyroid disorders, and obesity. Neurological problems. Long-term exposure is linked to cognitive impairments, including memory loss, attention deficits, and learning disabilities. This is, I also pulled out, for those of you that have pets, I pulled out the effects that dioxin has on your pets and the symptoms to watch for with your pets, mainly with dogs and cats. Skin problems. Pets may develop skin rashes, sores, lesions, particularly on their paws and abdomen. Gastrointestinal problems, vomiting, diarrhea, loss of appetite. Respiratory problems, which is coughing, wheezing. Reproductive and developmental problems, including infertility, miscarriage, and birth defects. This is all in your pets, guys. Immune system dysfunction. I cannot speak. I'm trying to get all this out so quickly. Weakened immune system, making them also more susceptible to infections and diseases. behavior changes in your pets, which can make them lethargic, anxious, or aggressive. So if you are in that area where you're exposed to those chemicals, um, the dioxins that came about from burning these chemicals, and your pet starts showing the lethargic, anxious, or aggressive behaviors, chances are good it's from the dioxins, and I would get them out of them if you care about your animals at all. Dioxins are highly toxic and can accumulate in the body over time. They have a long half life, meaning it takes a long time for the body to eliminate them. This means that the dioxins, if you're not trying to um, clean out your body, basically, can remain in your body for years or even decades after exposure. And this is where the long-term effects are going to come from. This is where your cancers are going to come from. Your memory losses for Alzheimer's, all that stuff, your nervous system problems, your thyroid problems. It's going to be all these long-term effects um, of having those dioxins sit in your body and not trying to do your best to detox them out of your body. Dioxin is not water soluble. It is highly hydrophobic. It's a water repellent. It is soluble in fats and organic solvents. Dioxins can accumulate in the fatty tissues of living organisms and can persist in the environment for long periods of time. Okay, so there are some plants that I'm going to tell you all that have the ability to absorb, tolerate, and break down quite a few of these chemicals that were released by this derailment. And I would suggest, if you can, to plant these plants in your garden or around your home or whatever to try to get them to absorb these toxins out of the soil as quickly as you can and break down these chemicals and get rid of them. So sunflowers, Indian mustard, alfalfas, ryegrass, white clover, chlorella, which is an algae. You can't actually grow that, guys, but not in your garden anyway. Switchgrass, willow trees, poplar trees. I already told you guys about the zeolites in order to detox your body. Chlorella, which is it's a freshwater algae, and you can buy it at most botanical stores. And you literally just mix it in your tea or you mix it in your smoothie, and it is a great detoxifier. This is another one that I use often whenever I'm just feeling off, but it is an amazing detoxifier. Between that and the zeolite, they are wonderful. Also, a supplement that I want to suggest for helping boost your what's it called? Defenses against bad things for your nervous system is NAC. This is really a great way to help protect your nervous system, and that's something I would start taking right away, if at all possible. Chlorella has the ability to bind to dioxins and other pollutants in the digestive tract, because remember we said you can ingest it from the foods or fish or meat that you eat. So the chlorella will bind to it in your gut, and it will help you eliminate it through bowel movements. It'll also keep your body from absorbing these toxins. So before you even absorb it, it'll bind to it so that it can't go anywhere, and then you will, get rid of it. Photoremediation, which we already talked about with the plants, is a process that involves using plants to remove contaminants from soil, water, or air. Sometimes some plants are known as to absorb and break down certain chemicals, including vinyl chloride, butyl oxalate, ethyl hexyl acrylate, and ethylene glycol monobutyl ether. I'm not going to try to say all that again. And then we went over those plants that absorb, break down, and get rid of those chemicals. 20 herbs that help support detoxification. Milk thistle. Your liver, in case you guys don't know this, most of your detox is through your liver and your kidneys. So you want to try to take herbs or vitamins that help your liver and your kidneys do the things that they need to do and process these toxins and get them out of your body. So the healthier your liver is, the healthier your kidneys are, the better your detoxification process is going to be. So all of these help support those functions. Milk thistle, which supports your liver function. Dandelion roots, also your liver. And some of these you've already seen before in other videos. I've talked about in other videos. Burdock roots supports liver function and helps remove toxins from your bloodstream. Red clover has antioxidants that removes toxins from the body in general. Turmeric contains anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties that support liver function. Ginger helps promote digestion and stimulate liver function. Garlic contains sulfur compounds that help detoxify the liver. Cilantro binds to heavy metals and helps remove them from the body. And why I put the heavy metals detox in is because if you have all these small amounts of these other chemicals in your body can concentrate on the heavy chemicals that just got released into the air. Peppermint promotes digestion and helps support liver function. Fennel contains antioxidants that removes toxins from the body in general. Licorice root supports liver function and helps to remove toxins from the body. Chamomile promotes relaxation and helps support liver function. Rosemary contains antioxidants that help to remove toxins from the body. Echinacea helps to support immune function and detoxification. Hawthorn berry supports cardiovascular health and liver function. Nettle leaf contains antioxidants that help support kidney function. Sage contains antioxidants that help remove toxins from the body. Thyme contains antioxidants that help to remove toxins from the body. Astragalus helps support immune function and detoxification. And Schisandra helps to support liver function and detoxification. Also, another thing, when I had talked about the chloride, any vegetable that is deep green, dark deep green, your kale, your spinach, your broccoli, any of those deep green vegetables will help your body detox those chemicals. So if you can eat daily those vegetables raw, it will help not only detoxify those chemicals, but it will help clean you out to keep everything moving. So it's going to draw out those chemicals and it's going to help you stay regular to keep flushing them out. Water, lots and lots of water is another very important thing. Make sure you're drinking lots of water. These deep, dark green vegetables, alfalfa sprouts, that's another one. Any of your microgreens too will help. If you're into microgreens, eating a lot of your microgreens, that will help you detox too. Exercising, sweating, making sure you're getting sleep so that your body has the energy it needs to fight these chemicals. I know this all sounds really basic, guys, but it's so, so important in order to get these things out of your body. Your body is going to do what it needs to do to get rid of all these nasty chemicals. You just have to give it what it needs in order to do it, whether it be sleep, exercise, the vitamins from your vegetables, the nutrients from the vegetables or your fruits or microgreens or whatever. Give your body what it needs and it will do what it needs to do to keep you healthy. Stay away from the toxins if at all possible. If you can get out, get out. Your health is not worth it. Don't trust what they're telling you to stay in there. Don't trust what they're telling you to just go and drink the water, without filtering it. Don't do any of that. I think they're trying not to scare the masses, but it is worse than they're telling you. And I'm trying to help you take precautions to fight back, let your body fight back these chemicals that people are exposed to. So if you guys have any questions, I'm going to try to get to them. Also, I want to thank, I don't know if they are in here or not because I don't know who they were exactly, but Bucks fan, I want to thank you for your donation on my last live. I absolutely appreciate it. I did get that through Cash App. I wanted to let you know it did come through and I greatly appreciate you doing that. Although I don't know what your name is on YouTube. So I'm going to have to go with the name that it told me, and that was Bucks Fans. So thank you so much. I appreciate that very, very much. Oh, here's the trees, guys. Oh, I thought I was done. Here's the trees that can also absorb and break down those chemicals. So I already said willow trees, also your birch trees, your oak trees, your pine trees, your spruce trees, alder trees, red mulberry trees. I already said Indian mustard. I already said switchgrass, red canary grass, alfalfa, said sunflowers, corn, sweet potatoes, carrots, beets, spinach, mustard greens, and cabbage. All of these vegetables are ones that can absorb and break down dioxins as well as the vinyl chloride. Tall fescue, I don't know what that is, what kind of plant that is. That's another one. Soybeans is another one. Kale is another one. Okay, now I'm really done with all my notes. I hope I was able to give you guys some information that could help, or that you can pass along to somebody that's there that can help. I know I missed a whole lot of people, and I'm going to try to say hi to them. If you have any questions, go ahead and post, and I will try to answer them. But it took me quite a while to gather this information that I was able to share with you. So if I don't know the answer, I will definitely see what I can find and get back to you. But if I do know the answer, I will let you know. So, any questions, guys? I don't even know how many are in here anymore. I miss so much chat. Hi, Greenleaf. Hi, Crazy Homesteader. Yes, fasting also. Um, it will help, but you want to try to get those vegetables in you first. So give your body a head start, give it the boost it needs with the nutrients in those foods. And then if you want to fast, then let your body take over and start trying to get rid of all that stuff. But I would highly suggest giving your immune system, your body, your liver, your kidneys, all of that, the boost it needs before you fast, especially if they've been introduced to high levels of chemicals. You want to try to get those out as much as possible before you go into a fast. PBF, hey, welcome. Hi, Johnny. Stray Kitten, hello. No, the algae is actually from fresh water. So it actually grows in fresh water. And it's if you can get it in powder form. I have it in powder form. It does not taste good. It tastes very similar to seaweed. Oh, seaweed is another good one, guys. But it tastes very similar to seaweed. So if you mix it in a smoothie, um, it's going to have that seaweed taste. I again put mine in capsules. If you put it in tea, again, your tea is going to taste like seaweed. But it grows in fresh water, but you can buy it for very cheap from the botanicals. Also, spirilla. I'm probably not saying that correct. I'd have to go downstairs and get my canister. Is another algae that detoxifies. Yes, green leaf. I did hear that, as well as the coughing and the headaches. So they're getting the immediate um, exposure effects, and if it continues, their effects are just going to get worse, and it's going to cause long-term health effects, negative health effects, which is where your cancer comes in, and the birth defects, and the lesions, all that stuff, all the thyroid problems, if they continue to stay in that environment. And I understand not everyone can leave, but um, sometimes you just have to go and see where you end up, because it's your life is more important, your family's life is more important. And if it gets to a point where you know it's dangerous for your health or your family's health to stay, you've got to just get in your car and go. Even if you don't know where you're going, get out of that area and trust that God is going to take you where you need to be, or where you need to go to help save you and your family. Just going through. Oh, I didn't see that super chat. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. You didn't have to do that, though. I really just wanted to get this out to try to help the people that are in this situation and help them, prepare their bodies to fight back. Especially not just in Ohio, but wherever this cloud is going, wherever the water is going in Kentucky, and then the cloud in West Virginia, and the cloud going over New York. All those toxins are spreading out depending which way the wind blows. I want these people to be able to get their bodies ready to protect themselves from the toxins that were control released into the environment. ETP, I don't know how close you are to their uranium fire, but some of these will probably help your people around there, because I'm sure, even though they're saying nobody was exposed, if there was a fire and it went into the air, there's going to be some sort of exposure, even if it's a small one. Yes, it absolutely is. They are keeping very hush hush about a lot of what's going on there, and they are lying to the public and putting them in danger. And if it's not a way to knock people off one by one as quickly as they can, I don't know what is. Be careful of the meats that you eat from that area. And then also remember, as these contaminants fall on the fields, the livestock are going to eat these contaminants, and their bodies are going, they don't detox. Animals don't detox like we do. So their bodies are going to store these chemicals for years. So you have to be careful where you're getting your meat from. Um, if they didn't just unfortunately keel over and die like some people's chickens and pets and wildlife, they're going to store those chemicals. And if you eat those chemicals, they're transferring them to you. So even if you are still detoxing now, you want to make sure to continue to do this in case you eat some contaminated meat or contaminated vegetables or drink contaminated water. Keep detoxing. Keep getting your body to flush this stuff out. Yes, green tea and black tea. Two more. Thank you, crazy homesteader. I forgot about those. Arc, hello. Green tea and black tea are also very good at detoxing um, the bad stuff, all the bad stuff. You could put broccoli in tea if you would like to. That is not something I'm going to do. Yep, pine needles. I've heard that, but I've never actually tried that. I don't know how that would taste. Does it taste like you're sipping on a Christmas tree? Um, are you talking about the detox, RP? Any of those vegetables, if you're talking to me, any of those vegetables, if you can eat them raw, it's better. If you can eat them fresh and raw, or just raw in general, it is the best way to take in those dark green veggies. Yep, sprouts. Those are the micro. I can't think of the word now. Micro sprouts. And your micro are they called micro sprouts, guys? I know I said it earlier, but I forgot. Um, Microgreens. That's it. The microgreens actually have way higher vitamins, nutrients than your regular vegetables. So if you can get a hold of those microgreens, they are 10 times better for you than just getting um, a handful of spinach from the grocery store. In case y'all did not know that. Yes. I just, if you missed it earlier, I just read a whole bunch of different ways to get rid of these nasty chemicals that they released into the air, as well as just regular chemicals, how to boost your immune system, purify the blood, get your liver boosted so it can detox, your kidneys boosted so they can detox, how to protect your nervous system, things you can plant into the soil to help it break down, absorb and break down those chemicals, as well as ways to help get the dioxins out of the water. Yep, D3 and K2. Thank you, crazy. I'm glad you're here because you're reminding me of things that I forgot, trying to get all the rest of this stuff together. The waving plants. Have you guys seen those waving plants? The waving plants, MBR3, I think is his channel. A few months ago, people were sending him videos of plants that were just one little thing was waving, and then they would stop it, like the leaf or the branch, they would stop it from moving, and they'd step away and it would start waving again, all by itself. Nothing would be touching it, all over the world. It was crazy. I thought I was caught up. Caught up, thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm sorry I'm so scattered. I was trying to get all this stuff together. It took me forever. My printer didn't want to print. Otherwise, I would have went at 7:15 at my normal time. But it was just so much information I wanted to get printed out so I could share with you guys. I didn't realize it had gotten that far. But I guess with the front that just went through up there. And it's not just that disaster, guys. I don't know if you guys just saw Angry Prepper's video yesterday with the 3 oil refineries or oil plants that just caught fire down in Texas and Mexico that were owned by the same company. That, of course, put toxins in the air. Then you had, I think it was like a few, I want to say there was a Michigan derailment, Ohio derailment. Um, the 5 people that were on their way to go to Ohio that crashed near the 3M manufacturing plant. I don't know if that caught on fire. Then there was a lumber storage facility that caught on fire. And we had a derailment here in South Carolina that had ethanol, even though they said there was no leak, but they had to, let us know there was ethanol. So, there was I think Nebraska had either a fire or derailment. You had the uranium um, fire, plant fire. All these different things that they're doing around the world is all um, throwing all these nasty, nasty chemicals into the air, into our water, into our soil, and it's going to the more strategically these fires are placed, the more carcinogens there are, dioxins, the vinyl chloride, all of that stuff is going to be put out. It's going to blanket everything. It's going to go over our crops. It's going to go over the waters, the rivers, the ponds, um, the lakes. It's going to get into the fish. It's going to get into um, the the deer and whatever else y'all hunt for. It's going to get into the livestock. It's going to get into the chickens. All this is going to get into our food, and it's just going to move up the food chain. It's going to keep going into the food that's processed and put into the stores, and it's gonna cause havoc on a lot of people for a long time. You got to take care of yourself. Corn syrup. Corn syrup is really, really bad for you. It's also really bad for kids with ADHD, in case you guys did not know that, as well as some of the dyes out there. But corn syrup is terrible. Stray kitten, that is a good question that I am not sure of. Um, I may have to look into why they don't. Maybe their body just doesn't process them the same way. Yes, D3 and K2. And B complex. B complex is another one. Magnesium is another one that you need in your body to help detox. Oh, yep, don't forget to smash the thumbs up. The Billy Chicken said, thank you, thank you. I feel that it all boils down to Satan knowing that he's running out of time. He's trying to cause as much havoc and pain and suffering and death and destruction and lie, cheat, and steal as much as he can because he knows he's running out of time. In my opinion, yep. D3, D3 is important too, especially if you're in places like Alaska that don't get a whole lot of sunlight half the year. You want to make sure you get your D3. And B12 or B12. Fun fact, you guys, B12 is actually a vitamin that you cannot take too much of. So your body will actually get rid of any B12 vitamins that you do not need by urinating. Just so you guys know, fun fact. Yes, PBF, absolutely. Hillbilly, that's why I have not heard that, although I would not put it past them. That is why we do what we do. That is why we continue to make sure we have food, make sure we have water, make sure we have our network in place, and make sure that our faith is strong and that we just keep going. We know that we're going to be okay no matter what they do. I've not heard they're going to do another one, but they could. I mean, there's nothing stopping them. And there's so many distractions around too, guys. There's so many distractions with the balloons and the unidentified stuff and um, just a bunch of nonsense. There's so much nonsense going on in the world that we are not paying attention to the things that are important going on in the world. So when they tell you to look one direction, make sure you look the opposite direction and see what's really coming or what they're trying to hide. Yes, many veggies are good for your pets, especially dogs as well, but in moderation. They will get gas scoots if you suddenly introduce veggies, introduced gradually. Um, Something else that we keep on hand, RP, and I'm sure you already know this, If you have pets and you're trying to stock for your pets, a natural remedy for them for diarrhea or constipation, it works for both, is pumpkin. Not the pumpkin pie filling. Don't buy that. That's got all the extra spices and stuff they don't need. Just all natural canned pumpkin. It will stay on your shelf. It takes a very teeny tiny amount. It is really, really good for them, and it will help if they get constipated, upset stomach, diarrhea, nausea, all of that. Also, uh, coconut oil, organic natural coconut oil is really, really good for them, for their tummies, for their skin, their bodies. You can give it to them to ingest, or you can put it on the outside if they have a lesion or something. You can put that on there, and it won't hurt them if they lick it off. And most dogs love coconut oil um, quite a bit. It's good for if they have arthritis or hip problems. Give them coconut oil; it'll help on the inflammation. Also, something that I've learned over the years with having animals all of my life is, even though we have dogs, I have some wet cat food that I stock. And the reason that I do this is because if dogs get to a point where they are so, so sick that they will turn up their noses to their own canned food, there's a good chance that they will actually eat the canned cat food. Now, cats should not eat canned dog food, but dogs can actually eat canned cat food. And this I've learned from the vets over the years. I guess it's because the kitty food is so much more smelly than the dog food that the dogs can't resist it. And if they are resisting that smelly cat food, then they need serious vet attention, or they're at the end of life. But we've had a couple that were at end of life that we gave them the wet kitty food up until they passed, so that they got something good that they wanted. Um, so I would highly suggest that if you are stocking for your animal and you are stocking dog food for your dogs, that you also stock some wet cat food for when they're sick and they just don't have an appetite to eat. Um, and then also look for electrolytes that are for pets. They have electrolytes that are good for pets, and you need those for your animals to stock too. I know that's off subject from the Ohio derailment, but you want to make sure that you have electrolytes stocked for your pets too, for if they get dehydrated or sick, or they get, they eat something that makes them constantly throw up, or, comes out the other end. You want to make sure that they also stay hydrated and get their electrolytes so that they can get better. Carrots are also good for animals. Do not give your animals onions, garlic, chocolate, or bread. Your dogs. Onions, garlic, chocolate, or bread is very, very bad for dogs. It can it can make them very, very sick. It will poison them. Um, especially chocolate in large amounts and bread in large amounts. Sorry, guys, I got a tickle. All right. Thank you. Yes, that explains why. I knew that cats could not eat dog food, so that makes sense. Yep, peanut butter. Thank you, Kit Carlson. Peanut butter also, you want to make sure it doesn't have any of the fake sugars in it. Um any of the processed sugars, the fake sugars, because that's also toxic. Any of the sugar substitutions are very toxic for dogs as well. It's best if you're going to give your dogs peanut butter that you give them organic peanut butter. Make sure you check your ingredients and or make your own peanut butter, which is not hard to do. Pineapples and smoothies helps your pH alkaline. Also, lemons and water. Lemons and water will also helps your body alkaline. Yeah, pineapple juice is really good for you. It's also really good for women if they're trying to conceive. Just so you know, pineapple juice. It's the what's it called? Bromium or beryllium. This is a later live than I normally do, but it's a chemical that the pineapple actually gives off, has in it, that helps women to conceive. But I won't go into that whole thing. This is not a conception live. All right. I think that is it. We are at the 1 hour, guys. Um, I hope that what I gave you helps you. I hope that if you know anyone that is in the area of Ohio or Vermont, West Virginia, New York, Kentucky, where these chemicals are going out everywhere, that you can forward this to them or at least share this information with them, give them this information to help them not get these long term effects or help them fight back on the short term effects. Um, I would really appreciate it, you guys, if you would give a thumbs up on this one, because I really want the algorithms to pick up this video so that it gets out to people to help, since the um, alphabet agencies are not doing what they can. They're not they're not stepping up to the plate like I think they should. Uh, or even if any of these other chemical plants, if you have people there, give them this information, because this is information that people should know, that they need to know to help not get sick, to help give their body a chance to survive. If you care anything about these loved ones, at the very least, write this stuff down. I don't care if they watch this video or not, just write this stuff down and get this to them. Tell them to do their own research, look into it. Um, if you have any of these vitamins or herbs, send them to them. Give them a fighting chance. Keep praying for these people in Ohio and everywhere else that this spreads. Above all, remedies out there, detoxifiers that are out there, uh, vitamins that are out there. The ultimate healing is God. It is prayer above all else, no matter what it is. I don't care if they are on their deathbed, God can heal. Pray, faith, trust. Take care of one another. As always, love each other. We will get through this together. And that's about it. So thank you, you guys. I hope you'll have a blessed night. And I will see you next time. Good night.